Our theme tonight is celebrating our heroes, heroes of Greece's past, and dealing with extraordinary outside threats. Shh. Thank you. And today's frontline heroes in Greece, fighting COVID and fighting climate change. And we are proud to honor tonight a true hero in the world's struggle with this pandemic, a real Philhellene, a staunch supporter of building Greece's economy, a personal friend, Alex Gorski, Chairman and CEO of Johnson & Johnson, who you're going to hear from in a minute, but yes, thank you. We're also pleased tonight that we're going to hear from an extraordinary member of our community. I'm his personal PR agent, Dr. Peter X-Prize Diamandis, an extraordinary human being, on his fight and our fight at THI against the ravages of wildfires brought on by climate change, and he's going to be speaking about that. And speaking of heroes, deep thanks to our board. 9 years of building something amazing, but most importantly to our extraordinary staff, Peter Poulos, Michael Princess, Tina Korpus, Artemis Kohas, Maria Papatsati, Zenis Zukovili, and Nick Simonakis. You are amazing what you do and how you do it. Without them, without you, I think so. I can hear the young crowd at the back there. Without you, there is no tonight, there is no THI, and we have all in Mazi, all together, done what we can to support Greece in its renaissance. And now, please direct your attention to the screens and a voice you will all recognize.
Greek heroes, the brave souls who time and again have defended the country we love against existential threats. Ancient Greece faced two of its greatest existential threats in the form of foreign invaders. But Greek heroes emerged and met the challenge. Brave leaders such as King Leonidas in Thermopylae and Themistocles.
Well, for those of you who don't know the voice, our very own James Earl Jones, Father Alex, that was amazing, thank you. Very touching and a very moving rendition of what Greece has been going through. I want to recognize the U.S. Ambassador to Greece, Alexander Papadopoulou, the Consul General of Greece, Konstantinos Koutras, Consul General of Cyprus, Mihalis Firilas, Archbishop Elbadopoulos, of course, our board members, and a special welcome to our new board member, Jim Neary. This is truly a special night. Our corporate friends, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really very pleased to be here in this wonderful hall. It was completed in 1842, originally serving as the Merchants' Exchange, and today it stands as a triumph to Greek revival architecture. The architectural movement that swept across the West after the liberation and rediscovery of Greece, which followed the year of the War of Independence in 1829, just 13 years prior to the completion of this building. And it was Lord Byron who, prior to the war, expressed his dismay at the state of once what was the mighty ancient Greece. He said, the Isles of Greece, where grew the arts of war and peace, eternal summers gilds them yet, but all except their sun is set. Helping to free her of her isolation as subjugators, Lord Byron made sure that the world once again would see the true magnificence of this land of Greece. This beautiful building is one of countless testaments to that historical, architectural, but also societal, cultural, and economic revival. And with that same spirit, THI is working hard for the modern revival of Greece, albeit with a little less of the beauty of Lord Byron. We doubled our efforts to support even more people during the maelstrom of this pandemic, and we pivoted our in-person classes to online tutoring schools and our meals into delivered food aid packs. We also focused on the forgotten stories of the pandemic by continuing to support the TFC Family Helpline, which assists victims of gender-based and domestic violence. At the same time, we remain committed to achieving those objectives which brought us all here in the first place. And recently, we raised donations from 4,200 Philhellenes from 47 countries in response to the country's devastating wildfires. An amazing, amazing program. And on job creation, we were a founding supporter of the regeneration program with $500,000. Almost 2,500 corporate positions have been created as part of that program, the country's most extensive job creation program for young graduates. Johnson & Johnson are critical to that success. Of the over 1,300 business partners in the program, J&J were among our top 5. And we are so delighted to see J&J actively participate in RegGen's bootcamp, assessment centers and career events. They are amazing partners. And such a great partnership would simply not be possible without great leadership and without a great leader who, of course, sits at the helm of J&J, Mr. Alex Gorski. Alex, is it close? Yes, please, a round of applause. We're going to get him up in a minute. I can't tell you what an amazing human being he is. He has walked in a remarkable path through life and business defined by achievement, diligence, and humanity, truly reflective of his patriotism, determination, and dutiful character. His first calling was to serve in the armed forces. He served 6 years in the army after commissioning at West Point. And that, as he'll say, part of his station was in Drama, Greece, where he learned Greek. You see the connection here? Gorski's really a Greek name. That's a stretch, I know. Where he learned Greek at the Defense Language Institute. You're going to hear some of this tonight. Life for Alex at J&J began as a sales rep in 1988, and over the following 3 decades, he was a model team leader, talented, hardworking, well-prepared, and always supportive of young people who looked up to him with awe and admiration. And perhaps the ultimate testament to his capability, he was appointed CEO and chairman in 2012, one of just 7 who have served in that dual role since the company was listed in 1944. He drove sustainability and purpose-based values business, which are the core of the J&J credo. J&J is the #1 industry investor in research and development of medical devices, and as you would expect, a leading global pharmaceutical company. Deeply devoted and committed to his wife, Pat, and his son, Nick, his wife for 30 years. It simply would not have been possible to have done what Alex has done without Pat and his support of Pat. Thank you, Pat, for being there all the way. Alex, we're very grateful to have you here tonight. You and your organization are making a real and serious difference to lives of so many in Greece, and not unlike Lord Byron. You are truly assisting in the revival of one of the world's greatest civilizations. On behalf of all the members of THI, I extend my thanks for you for being here tonight. It's only fitting that we're honoring J&J and Alex Gorski with the Prometheus Award for commitment to Greece and its future. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alex Gorski.
For those very generous comments, Andrew. How can you not but feel the passion, the purpose, and the pride that Andrew has in all that is Greek? Thank you again, Andrew. Look, as all of us who've been privileged to receive these kind of honors in a very humble way can attest, it's really not about us at all. It's about the wonderful organizations that we have the opportunity to represent. In my case, it's the 135,000 employees of Johnson & Johnson, many of whom have worked tirelessly over the last 24 months to help bring a vaccine to fight the very virus that I think we're somewhat celebrating tonight. It's so great to be out and actually see each other again. You know, as Andrew mentioned, I had the very good fortune as a very young soldier to be stationed at my first post in Drama, Greece. And I was a very impressionable 24-year-old, and the concepts that I learned there about politics, about debate, about science, about technology, those Greek characteristics have really shaped who I am as a person, who I am as a leader, and I know without that much of what I've been able to do just would not have been possible. And then as we were, talking about COVID, I couldn't help but reflect that just a few weeks ago, I was with my fellow colleague Albert Bourla, with George Yanakopoulos from Regeneron, and also Roy Gilmartin, the retired, Roy Vagelos, the retired CEO of Merck. And I think it's no coincidence that all of them happen to share a Greek heritage, but have also played such an important role in taking on COVID-19 and hopefully helping us find a path forward. So last but not least, of course, the crew tonight wanted me to try to come up with something in Greek. They said, since you do speak some Greek, could you say something? And I was trying to reach through my vocabulary, and one of the words that I remember best is the word scarphalonome. And if I remember right, it's about a climb. And I think that's exactly what this represents right now, as we climb our way to COVID, climb our way to help Greece. And I just want to thank all of you for your commitments in making all that possible. Thank you very much.
Please welcome to the stage THI Executive Director, Peter Poulos.
Tonight was challenging for lots of reasons, and by the way, before we get started, I just want to say Omicron. People, it's Omicron. I wanted to start by saying a huge thank you to Princess Tatiana, who we asked at the very last minute, in fact yesterday, if she would be our host for this evening, because of sudden changes, and Nia Vardalos was supposed to join us, but unfortunately she and her daughter were exposed to COVID and they were not able to join us today. All a result of these uncertain times. And not only has Princess Tana been a loyal, incredible international to us, but she accepted, despite her fear of public speaking, to take on this role for us at the last minute, so thank you. And I'd also like to thank you, Tatiana. You're doing us a huge favor, thank you. I'd also like to thank Prince Pavlos and Princess Marie Chantal for being such generous and loyal friends for THI. Thank you very much. There's just a couple other people I'd like to recognize. I'd like to recognize Mayor Dean Trantalis from Fort Lauderdale. Are you here, Mayor? Thank you for coming. We're very proud of you. And I'd like to recognize the Deputy Minister of Health from Greece, Zoe Raptis. Ms. Raptis, you here? Thank you very much for coming. It's greatly appreciated. And just two other quick things. I'd like to thank Stavros Michalidis with Psychis Rouvas and the whole team with Psychis Rouvas. You've done incredible things for us, and Psychis and Katya once again for coming and entertaining all of us and agreeing to do this. So generous of all of you. And so, no further ado, I would like to welcome Princess Tatiana to the stage, who's going to introduce some of the films and some of our programmatic work for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. And let me see if you can hear me here. Thank you, Peter, again, and thank you all who've come out tonight to show your continued support for our beloved Greece. And even though I am not Greek by birth, I am very Greek in my heart. And that is why I have been with the Hellenic Initiative since 2016 as International Ambassador. And it really is my pleasure to be with you all again tonight. Since it launched, THI has invested $18 million in more than 200 programs supporting both crisis relief and economic development in Greece. And these are numbers we're very proud of. Tonight, we're here to honor all those whose strength and dedication helped save lives and preserve their family roots after the unprecedented devastation of this year's wildfires. And here, the Hellenic Initiative acted very fast, launching a campaign just days after the wildfires. THI managed, as Mr. Andrew Liver said, managed to raise over $700,000 from 4,200 different donors coming from 47 countries. I'm sure many of those are here tonight or watching through our live webcast, so let me just say, on behalf of THI's board, a very big thank you. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. This evening, we pause to highlight not the darkness that the fires left behind, but the light that people like you and organizations like THI are helping to bring back. Tonight, THI is proud to announce our new program that will see us working on 3 different fields. First, we will be helping bee farmers make an income, donating 560 beehives to farmers affected in Laconia, Messina, and Evia. Secondly, we will be launching, together with all of you, a tree planting campaign. And thirdly, we'll be donating trucks to the Greek Fire Service, recognizing their efforts and sacrifices. And as you have seen on the screens, we have already started. One other initiative supported by THI and focused on job creation is regeneration. The idea of regeneration was born on our very first gala back in 2013, when people were trying to find ways to create jobs in Greece and fight brain drain. So can I please ask you to direct your attention to the video that's about to show. Thank you.
Regeneration was born amidst the most severe financial crisis Greece was going through. The youth unemployment rates were sky high. It was 50% back then. Young people were going away from the country.
Their vision was to...
Kalispera. Our next presenter is someone who looks at adversity and asks, how can I turn this situation into an opportunity? Peter Diamandis is a Greek-American engineer, physician, and entrepreneur. He is also a best-selling author, a futurist, and a founder of Singularity University and the X Prize Foundation. He tackles the topics of overpopulation, the energy crisis, genetic disorders, food and water shortages, and demonstrates how each of these challenges are being met by bold innovation. Peter's favorite saying is, the best way to predict the future is to create it yourself. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what THI is all about. It's all about Greece and its future. So ladies and gentlemen, Oli Mazi, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Peter Diamandis.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. How are you guys doing? Everybody doing well? It's a pleasure to be here. First thing I need to do is say hello to my mom in Boca, who's watching the live stream. Mom, I love you. You're amazing. The second thing is to say thank you to George Stamas and Andrew Liveris for this organization. You know, it makes you proud to be a Greek, to be here. And to the THI board and the staff, to Peter Poulos and everybody for the extraordinary job. Let's hear it for them. It was a few weeks ago that I got a call from a gentleman by the name of Father Alex Carlutzos. I was his altar boy when I was growing up, and I always answer his phone calls. And he said, Peter, I'd like you to come and speak about technologies to fight wildfires. And I said, of course, Father Alex. And he said, good boy. And when he said that, the wiring in my brain triggered, and I knew I was doing a good thing for humanity. So, Father Alex, I'll always take your call, and I'm always grateful for you in your life. And I love your next career as a voiceover artist. So, all right. So, the $700,000 that THI raised for the relief fund is amazing and necessary. But the question is, how do we actually prevent the wildfires instead of having to give relief to them? What's the future of fire insurance that prevents the fire from the first place instead of paying you for the damage after it's happened? You see, we're living during the most extraordinary time ever in human history. It's a time where the technology each of us have in computation and sensors and networks and AI and robotics and 3D printing and synthetic biology, augmented virtual reality, where these technologies are enabling small teams to do extraordinary things. And the extraordinary thing that we would like them to be doing is reinvent how we fight these wildfires. Because you know the definition of insanity? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. Well, we've been fighting wildfires the same way for 50 years. I am proud to be running an organization based in LA. I've got one of my two nieces, Katerina Stamatio, who's here, who's our head of marketing, who has helped me with these remarks. And we have been focusing on how do we create an X Prize. I am going to ask the audience if you guys just 3 minutes, I promise, and then the music begins. Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it. So, I started the X Prize 27 years ago with a dream. I wanted to fly to space. You know, Apollo and that scientific documentary called Star Trek really got me excited about going. And it was impossible back then to go privately to space. So I came up with the idea of a $10 million incentive competition. Launched a $10 million prize under the arch in St. Louis, asking teams to build a private spaceship. And they did. We had 26 teams spend $100 million building private spaceships. And you can see the results today with Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin and SpaceX. On the heels of that, we built the X Prize Foundation into a group that launches global large-scale competitions, asking teams to build and demonstrate technology that solves a massive problem. So with Jim Cameron, we did an oil spill cleanup to reinvent how to clean oil spills after the 2010 Gulf of Mexico. We've done an X Prize for mapping the ocean floor, technology to do it 30 times faster. We did that in Greece, in the depths of the oceans there. A water abundance X Prize, pulling water out of the atmosphere. X Prize to feed the next billion people. And I'm working on one prize, very close, which is a $100 million age reversal X Prize. Imagine a therapeutic that would reverse your age 20 years. That's the objective, at least. I hear some applause for that, I guess. It's Father Alex, it's not a way for me to avoid the kingdom. It's just, I'm so happy with everything going on Earth. All right, it was about 8 months ago that I sat down with Elon Musk and we launched a $100 million gigaton carbon removal prize. Asking teams around the world, I've met some Greek entrepreneurs here, which is amazing. How do you pull gigatons of carbon out of the atmosphere? And he funded the $100 million prize. Today, one of the results of the climate crisis is wildfires. And so what we're doing is we're asking teams to build technology that instead of trying to fight a conflagration and a ferocious wall of fire, if anybody's ever been near wildfire, it's not only devastating, it will scare the daylights out of you. And we said, can you instead build a technology to detect a fire at the moment of ignition and put it out within 10 minutes? Can you start when it's small? So to win this X Prize, teams are going to have to cover a 1,000 square kilometer area. It's 250,000 square acres. They're going to have to detect a fire if it's 2 meters or larger, or if it's moving, and within 10 minutes, put it out. Right? That's the mission. Like if you have cancer, you want to get it out at the very beginning, not when it's stage 4. And today we're fighting these fires at stage 4. About 18 months ago, I started working closely with the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who I've known for some time. And about 6 months ago, I had the pleasure to meet Lieutenant Governor Hellenic, who's become a friend. And this effort went from an X Prize and an X Prize California to an X Prize and California and Greek initiative. So I'm very pleased tonight to announce breaking news from yesterday that the Prime Minister of Greece, Prime Minister Mitsotakis, has agreed to contribute $1 million or more towards this prize purse, and to thank you, and also to co-chair our prize committee. So very proud. Our hope is that this devastation will end. So we raised about $6.5 million of the $15 million we need. If this is of interest to your company or you, after you've given generously to THI, then we can talk. And with that, every year, 340,000 people die prematurely, right? There's $350 billion in damage. It's about time. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on the stage. Thank you for the work that THI does. We're grateful.
So in closing, I would like to thank, on behalf of our co-chairmen, Andrew and George, I'd like to thank Mr. Alex Gorski, along with the Committee to Save the World, which is all Greeks and Philhellenes with Dr. Boula and Yiannakopoulos. Mr. Gorski, we'd like to thank you for the committee which has saved the world. And all we can say to you is Axios, and to your committee, Oxy, Kepanda Oxy, thank you for making it possible that we're all here tonight. We would like to thank Mr. Peter Diamandis for his extraordinary works, for his intellect, for his passion, for his creativity, and all of the good that he has done for the world. We would like to thank Princess Tatiana for being the ultimate goodwill ambassador for the Hellenic people, the Hellenic ideal, the Hellenic initiative. Σας ευχαριστούμε. We would like to thank Peter Poulos and the staff that made all this possible and who have made this evening a spectacular success. Now, how spectacular of a success? I'm pleased to report that at this evening's gala, we have raised, as of right now, over $2 million, and we're not done yet. So please continue to bid on your auction items on your Kindles. This evening, as Andrew said, we're missing our friend, my friend, our brother, my brother, and our co-founder of the Hellenic Initiative, Mr. George Stanis. We look forward to his presence here next year. Without George, as you all know, there would be no Hellenic Initiative. He is, for me, an inspirational and aspirational figure, and we love him. I want you all, in conclusion, to think about the following. 9 years ago, there was no one in this beautiful venue. The Hellenic initiative did not exist. $18 million was not raised and distributed. What we have accomplished, Oli Mas Mazi, over the last 9 years is truly extraordinary. And we've only gotten started. And so we really want to thank you for being here this evening, for your passion, your energy, your enthusiasm, and your support. And for me, I must tell you, Akuse, do you hear the noise over on the left of the young people? We could have filled this entire venue tonight with the under 30 set. I don't think that there's any other Hellenic organization that can say that, and so it is our ability to convene the Omojenia and to attract the youth and to create that energy that you hear over there, which is what makes our organization so special. So I hope everybody has a wonderful dinner this evening, Gali Orexi, and thank you very much.